Good morning, beautiful people. Let's take a deep breath this morning. Just breathe in and then exhale. Inhale again. Exhale. Relaxing body, mind, spirit, and heart. Opening ourselves up to this experience that we will have this morning. Knowing that we will hear exactly what we need to hear. That we will feel and see exactly what we need to feel and see. We are grateful for community, for the opportunity to come together. Whether we're sitting here in this room or whether we are watching remotely, we are all one, inextricably connected. We are the one heart, one love, one breath. We are harmony and unity. We are unique divine expressions, sharing our light with the world. And so we just separate ourselves from the outside world, tuning into our souls. Tuning into that secret place, the sacred place where we are more aware of our divinity and of the divine, in which we live and move and have our being. And we know that it is from this place, from this first cause, that all things are given life. We are one with the source, one with the all good, one with the all good God. And so it is here from this place of knowingness, of knowing who and what we are, that we sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer. Loving Spirit, This reading is from Thich Nhat Hanh's No Death, No Fear. The Buddha offered an interesting parable concerning ideas and notions. A young tradesman came home and saw that his house had been robbed and burned by bandits. Right outside what was left of the house, there was a small charred body. He thought the body belonged to his little boy. He didn't know that his child was still alive. He did not know that after having burned the house, the bandits had taken the little boy away with them. In his state of confusion, the tradesman believed the body he saw was his son. So he cried. He beat his chest and pulled out his hair in grief. Then he began the cremation ceremony. This man loved his little boy so much. His son was the raison d'etre of his life. He longed for his little boy so much that he could not abandon the little boy's ashes, even for one moment. He made a velvet bag and put the ashes inside. He carried the bag with him day and night. And whether he was working or resting, he was never separated from the bag of ashes. One night, his son escaped from the robbers. He came to the new house built by his father. He knocked excitedly on the door at 2:00 in the morning. His father called out as he wept, still holding the bag of ashes. "Who is there?" "It's me, your son," the boy answered through the door. "You naughty person, you are not my boy. My child died 3 months ago. I have his ashes with me right here." The little boy continued to beat on the door and cried and cried. He begged over and over again to come in, but his father continued to refuse him entry. The man held firm to the notion that his little boy was already dead and that this other child was some heartless person who had come to torment him. Finally, the boy left and the father lost his son forever. The Buddha said that if you get caught in one idea and consider it to be the truth, then you miss the chance to know the truth. Even if the truth comes in person and knocks at your door, you will refuse to open your mind. So if you are committed to an idea about truth, or to an idea about the conditions necessary for your happiness, be careful. The first mindfulness training is about freedom from views. Aware of the suffering created by fanaticism and intolerance, we are determined not to be idolatrous about or bound to any doctrine, theory, or ideology, even Buddhist ones. Buddhist teachings are guiding means to help us learn to look deeply and to develop our understanding and compassion. They are not doctrines to fight, kill, or die for. This is a practice to help free us from the tendency to be dogmatic. Our world suffers so much from dogmatic attitudes. The first mindfulness training is important to help us remain free people. Freedom is above all else, freedom from our own notions and concepts. If we get caught in our notions and concepts, we can make ourselves suffer, and we can also make those we love suffer too.
Hello. I'm going to read the word of the day for my husband, Pete. Today the inspirational moment is from 365, Science of Mind, and the word is presence. It doesn't matter what we call it, so long as we remember that there is a secret place of the Most High within us, and that we may consciously enter it by merely knowing that we are already there. This is the place where the universe meets us in its wholeness without any restrictions whatsoever. This is the place where the all delivers everything that it is to us. Anything that helps you enter here is good. If you say prayers, make affirmations, repeat beautiful passages, or just sit in the quiet contemplation of your thought, realizing the presence of life, you will do well. For all these methods lead to the conclusion that the power exists and is available. All life, all health, all love, all peace exist in this power. Our loneliness, our sense of isolation, our poverty, our doubt, our sickness are results of being disconnected in consciousness from the divine self. I let go of every inharmonious, limiting thought. I quietly turn within and acknowledge that inner presence of my own being. Beautiful, uplifting feelings of harmony, peace, and love flow through me like a river, elevating my consciousness to a new and higher level of acceptance and unity. And now, if you'll repeat the affirmation 3 times with me. I let go of every inharmonious, limiting thought and acknowledge my divinity. I let go of every inharmonious, limiting thought and acknowledge my divinity. I let go of every inharmonious, limiting thought and acknowledge my divinity. Thank you.
Who knows what tomorrow brings? In a world few hearts survive. All I know is the way I feel. When it's real, I keep it alive. The road is long. There are mountains in our way, but we climb a step every day. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, up where the clear winds blow. Some hang on to used to be, live their lives looking behind. All we have is here and now, all our lives looking to find. The road, it's so long. There are mountains in our way, but we climb a step every day. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, where the clear winds blow. time goes by, no time to cry. Life's you and I alive today. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world we know, where the clear winds blow. Love lift us up where we belong, where the eagles cry on a mountain high. Love lift us up where we belong, far from the world below, where the clear winds blow. Thank you. So, this past Wednesday, I had the opportunity to be with a group of people. There were 10 of us. And there was a wide variety of folks, probably age difference of 50 years from the youngest to the eldest in the group. Different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different races. And we had all gathered to talk about grief and to talk about how we're living with it, whether we're struggling with it, stumbling through it, wondering what the heck is going on as we're trying to navigate grief in our lives. And I was amazed by the level of vulnerability in the group. There was one young woman who really just had questions. She said, I feel confused all the time. I'm highly emotional. I feel like I don't know who I am or what's coming next or what's happening right now. She said, I question everything. And I don't know if this is right, if this is normal. I don't know if I'm okay. I don't know if I'm a hot mess. I feel like I'm a hot mess every single moment. And I just want to know, I just want to hear if what's happening is normal. Others talked about their struggle with alcohol. Some of them talked about starting to drink again after 20-some years sober because the grief was just so devastating. Others admitted that they were going on and off camera because they were going to take another drink and then coming back, and they didn't want anybody to see. But just opened up and said, I have to say it out loud, or else I feel like I'm hiding and I don't want to hide anymore. Others were feeling the finality of their grief. And a woman who's been married to her beloved for 67 years kept saying over and over again, he's dead, he's dead, he's gone. He's just gone, and he's never, ever, ever, ever coming back. I'll never hold him, I'll never see him, and I don't know what's next. Another person talked about her daughter attempting suicide last year and being so focused on helping her daughter, that she lost seemingly all contact with the rest of the world and rest of her life. And in the midst of trying to help her daughter, her father dies. And now she has regrets about not being there for him and being so focused on her daughter. Others have anticipatory grief, watching a mother with Alzheimer's slowly slip away day after day after day, and wondering when that day is coming, wondering if it's going to be a few more years, wondering if it could be tomorrow. On top of that, the same person has a close friend who's just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He doesn't quite know what to do because every single day when he wakes up, he thinks perhaps this is the day somebody else is going to go. And he doesn't know if he can handle it. Somebody else said, I've lost the 3 people in my life who were my touchstones and my guides. My sister, my Buddhist teacher, and her sponsor for AA. All 3 of them died within 4 months. And she's not sure how to navigate the world now on her own. Many of the people there were not in the place where the person they loved died, and so they felt very disconnected from everybody else and didn't have anybody near them to talk about their pain. And the list just went on and on and on that day. Deep, deep, deep pain. And yet, what I did see is that everybody was open to everybody else's feelings. Nobody had judgments about anybody else's pain. Nobody discounted anybody else's journey. Everybody was open. Everybody was feeling everybody else's pain. We could see our pain in each other. We could feel the other's pain and be there with them in it. 10 people. And probably if you had looked at us as a group, you wouldn't have thought that we had anything in common. And yet what we had in common that night, together on Zoom, was our hearts. What we had together was our hearts and our love for the ones that we had lost, the ones that we feared losing. All that was evident on that screen, on my computer screen during that session, was vulnerability and love. Vulnerability and love. The most courageous acts I'd heard in a long time. People opening up themselves to a group of people they did not know and sharing their deepest, deepest, deepest pain. And as we cried together, and as we listened to each other talk, healing happened. Nobody's situation changed. Nobody knew anything else different than when they first turned on their computer and got into the session. Everybody was still feeling their pain, but what we felt was that we belonged to each other. What we felt was that we needed each other. What we felt was that there is so much more going on in this world than the things you see when you look at somebody and you see their exterior. what we felt, what was palpable in the room for each and every one of us was that there is something else at work in the world than the physical. And by the end of that 2 hours, you could see everybody's tension just had filtered out. It had kind of been whisked away. You could see the tension leave faces. Body language changed. People expressed gratitude for each other. People spoke up and said to the others in the room, I need you, and I need you here when we get together again, because you now matter to me. You now matter to me. One of the most phenomenal experiences I've had in a very, very long time. What the 10 of us witnessed that night was our shared humanity. And I believe at the same time that we experienced our shared divinity. Because in the midst of all that pain, there was light. In the midst of all that pain, there was connection. There was a sense of belonging. And each one of us had stepped into that room when we first began at 6:30 p.m. We came in feeling very much alone in the world. Some of us not knowing who we were because the ones that we belonged to had passed. In fact, somebody did ask, who do I belong to now that they're gone? The one woman who lost her husband after 67 years of marriage said, I have never, ever lived alone. I don't know how to do this. And yet, it's been 5 months and somehow I'm doing it. And she told the young lady in the group that the only thing I can tell you is that this will pass, and that the feelings that you're having right now, they will pass. And you might have another day that's hard and painful, but this too shall pass. And you'll be okay, because I'm okay. And if I'm okay, you can be okay. If I'm okay, you can be okay. I've been watching a series on TV on Netflix called Call the Midwife. And it's the memoirs of a woman who was a midwife in England in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And at the end of each show, there's a narration of her thoughts about the theme for that particular episode. And this is from season 8, episode 6. So where in the end do we belong? In the eyes of another, where we see ourselves reflected, or arm in arm with those whose faces echo ours, whose blood we share? Or is it in the heart of the family we create, where we are safest and best known and never lonely? Perhaps we belong where love can bloom, because we give it room to put down roots and space in which to thrive. Seeds fly in upon the wind and settle where they will. We all belong somewhere. If we're not nurtured as we should be, we must find a choice to make, a place to go, a harbor where the storm is held at bay. Sometimes simply belonging to each other is enough. And what matters is not to struggle, but where we find our peace. What matters is not to struggle, but where we find our peace. Thich Nhat Hanh also said that the reason we don't have peace now is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. And we think that one group doesn't belong to us. No matter how we have judged that group or that person, we think they're different. And they may have some things that are different about their lives, about how they look, about how they live, how they pray, what their background is, how they were taught, how they vote, whatever it is. But what matters is that we belong to each other. We belong to each other. And even in our deepest pain, especially in our deepest pain, what matters is that we have each other. Each other. And that perhaps the most courageous thing we can do in our relationships with each other is to open up our hearts and be who we are in the moment. That we don't have to paint it different. We don't have to put up a facade. We don't have to act like we're okay. We don't have to tamp down the pain and the suffering and the grief, the confusion, the anger. We don't have to tamp it down. We don't have to hide it somewhere, because most likely everyone else has their own pain too, has their own suffering, has their own need and wish to belong somewhere to somebody. The greatest commandment, Jesus said, was to love one another. Love one another. And probably the greatest act of love is to open ourselves up to one another and show each other that soft underbelly that is vulnerable. And that I accept you where you are, and you accept me where I am, exactly where I am, and exactly where you are. And we belong to each other. Jesus also said that there's no greater love than to give up your life for your friends. And probably he didn't always mean that literally, that we give up our lives physically, but that we give up our lives by showing each other what our life actually is. And say, here I am. And not have to worry about denigration, the condemnation, about being ridiculed or rejected, but knowing that you accept my full heart as I accept yours. And then we can walk this life. We can journey through grief and joy and gratitude. We can journey it all together. Never alone. Never alone. The call to love is an invitation to be real. To be real in our loving each other. To let down our barriers. Kick out the brick walls that we put up in front of each other. And just be. Just be. Just be. Just be. And love from there. Love from there. If we can do that, then we can heal all the problems of the world. We'll have peace. There'll be enough for everybody to eat. There will be fulfilling work for those who want it. Our children will be safe. They will grow and add to our communities. They'll be good citizens. We will care for each other in our living and in our dying. We will hold each other's hands. We will hold each other tight. Nobody would feel alone. No one would feel threatened. It would just be love and peace. Love and peace. But we first have to be willing to love from a very deep, open space. We are all walking through something difficult at some time. At some time. At some time. And so it necessitates that we hold each other lightly. That we give each other grace. That the anger you might see, that the denigration you might hear or feel may come from a place of pain because they don't have energy enough to be what they would like to be who they're called to be, because we're working so hard to keep up the facade, to keep everything in, to hide our real selves. It's exhausting to hide your real self. We belong to each other. We belong to each other, not just the people in this room who we know and like, to every being on this planet. Every being on this planet. Every being on this planet. There's enough love for all. There's enough love for us. There's enough love for everybody else. There's enough peace for us. There's enough peace for everyone else. And then some. Because that is the nature of the all good. So I invite you to do a couple of things. Be willing to be vulnerable with each other. Be willing to share your heart. To be fully open, not hiding your humanity. Because it is in our humanity that we find each other, and we find our commonality, and we can eventually find love. I invite you to reach out to those who are in pain and to just hold space for them. Not trying to solve their problems, not trying to get them to wipe the tears away and stop the crying and the noise, just to be with them in their pain and let them be with you. Let them be with you. For it is in our belonging and sharing with each other that we become healed. Nothing else need be done. Nothing else need be done. And I invite you to learn how to be with yourself. How to look at all of the places you don't want to look. all the corners of your mind, your heart, your spirit, your physical self, and accept yourself fully for who you are and love yourself completely. Love yourself completely. For you can't give what you don't have. We can't give what we don't have. And the more we are willing to be in our shared humanity, the more that we are open and vulnerable and willing to be with each other as our real selves, the faster we will find peace. And we'll have no more need for arms and bombs. And we can get to the business of living, thriving. We can get to the business of joy and harmony and unity. All that we were created to have and be. All that we were created to have and be. And so, yes, we're not here to struggle, but we are here to find peace, to be safe harbor for ourselves and for each other. For ourselves and for each other. Let's take this in a meditation. Just breathe. Just breathe. And whatever you're feeling now, just let it flow. Just let it be, for we are here to hold space with each other. We belong to each other. And so we let go of any notions of being alone, of having to fight the fight by ourselves. We let go of any notions that we have to look a particular way, feel a particular way, think a particular way. We can just be fully who we are. Be fully who we are. Sometimes in what we term and judge as our messiness, but what is really just our humanity and all of its beauty. And also there is still light within each of us. A light that cannot be extinguished. A light that was infinite. A light that not only shines for us, but can shine for each other. There's no shortage of light. And so, yes, we are here fully ourselves. Open, 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 open. And here and now we pledge to accept each other exactly where we are. To hold each other in our hearts. to honor each one's pain, each one's joys, to honor each being, and to see beauty and light there. To see beauty and light. And so we breathe in now. Breathe in love and light. And exhale love and light. We now enfold all sentient beings into this light, knowing that we are all one, and pledging to live from that knowledge. We live and breathe and express our oneness. So just relax and breathe, knowing that you are fully accepted just as you are. Knowing that you are fully accepted just as you are. Knowing that you are a unique, divine expression. Knowing that you are a unique, divine expression. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And so it is from this place. Now we lift the names of those for whom we want to pray.
Pete and his family. Jan and her family. My grandson. My son Chris and Chase. Reese.
For Kate and Tom. For Melissa. For all those who feel alone. For all those suffering with grief. For all those who are having successive losses. For all these that we have named and all those that we have not named, but who live in our hearts and our minds. We know that we are each whole, perfect, and complete. We know that the all good is at work in our lives, every moment of every day. We know that we have the power within us to seek all that we can seek, to have all that we would have, to see life differently if need be, to manifest something differently if we desire, to step into the world fully in our light, to heal ourselves and to heal those that we love. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So we know that the all good is at work in our lives and prospers us every moment of every day. Source is the first cause of all things in our lives. And so there is plenty for all. And so we now recite our celebration of giving. Together, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive. So it is. When he told you you're not good enough, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful, that you'll never be enough. Fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire, 'cause fear, he is a liar. When he told you you were troubled, you'll never be alone. When he told you you should run away, 'cause you'll never find a home. When he told you you were dirty and that you should be ashamed. When he told you you could be the one that grace could never change. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath and stop you in your steps. Yes, fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire, 'cause fear, he is a liar. Let love's fire fall, and love is all I feel. Let love's fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let love's fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let love's fire fall, now love is all I feel. Let love's fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let love's fire fall, and love is all I can feel. Let love's fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let love's fire fall, 'cause love is all I feel. Oh, fear. She will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. Fear, he is a liar. So let's give thanks for all our tithes and offerings. We are deeply grateful for everything that flows into this community, for all the love, all the time that people spend here doing the work that we need to do to make all of this happen and to spread a message of peace, love, joy, prosperity, harmony, and unity. We are so deeply grateful for all those who give, all those who show up. We are grateful for this community and for a place to belong, a place of safe harbor. Amen. So I think we have an announcement. July 24th, so 2 weeks from today, we have our Gathering for Peace, so 1 o'clock after service. If you're here for service, then we have lunch available for you. And we start at 1 o'clock, so we'll have music, message, and meditation so that we can affirm peace in our lives and peace on the planet. So please join us. And you can be here in the room with us or watch us online and join us remotely. So again, 2 weeks from today. And if you're going to be here on that day and you're going to stay for lunch and then stay for the gathering, please let me know and make sure we get a count for how much lunch to get. So now we have Mission and Vision. Mr. Marissa.
Hi. If you'll join me in saying our vision and mission statement.
We want to see you.
We are
Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love
and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teaching and demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here this morning and making this the best place to be on a Sunday morning. Have a glorious day. Have a glorious week. Namaste.